Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Let's check the COVID-19 case bulletin today. The country logged over 5,000 new COVID cases, raising the total number of infected Filipinos to more than 1.3 million. Of this number, the health department says 4.2% are active. Of all the new cases recorded since June 18, 95% of those are mild and asymptomatic. We're seeing a slight improvement on the death count, although 84 patients still died of the virus overnight. That's the first time after 5 consecutive days of logging in more than 100 deaths in a day. Now, total death count is now at over 23,000. That's 2% of the total cases recorded. Meanwhile, more than 7,000 individuals recovered today. This raises the total number of recoveries to 94% of the total cases recorded. The Philippines has extended restrictions on travelers from India and 6 other countries up to June 30. This is according to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. In a statement, Roque said restrictions on India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, United Arab Emirates, and Oman would continue to be imposed as part of efforts to ensure strict border control. The move was also done to prevent cases of the COVID-19 Delta variant from spreading in the country. Roque said returning Filipinos covered by repatriation programs of both the government and their recruitment agencies will still be able to enter the Philippines. The Octa Research Group says that the hospital care utilization rate in some provinces already exceeded 70%. In an interview with One News, Professor Guido David said, for one, Davao City recorded its highest daily cases since the pandemic, resulting to an HCUR of 66%. Other areas of concern have also high hospital utilization rates due to the continuous increase in cases.
Bacolod, Iloilo City, Dumaguete, Cagayan de Oro have high hospital utilization. That also includes Butuan, Tacloban, and Tuguegarao. And as you mentioned, Polo Molo, healthcare utilization is increasing, and it's also having a significant increase in new cases. And now we're also seeing Valencia in Bukidnon having a significant increase in cases.
David also warned that an India-like COVID-19 situation is looming in some of these areas of concern. David said the situation in Dumaguete is already comparable to India, where hospitals became overwhelmed within the surge in cases.
Other areas that I mentioned, like Davao City, like I said, their attack rate is still relatively lower compared to the others. But the ones that are really getting to be serious are Dumaguete, Iloilo City, Bacolod. They're still having increases, and their healthcare systems getting built up quickly.
COVID-19 variants have been threatening a possible resurgence of infections even in vaccinated populations. But Johns Hopkins University says there is no need for booster shots yet. Let's watch this.
Given all of the positive results that are coming from the vaccination campaign, not only the fact that the safety signatures are really coming through incredibly strong, but also the efficacy of the vaccine, and in particular the efficacy against variant viruses, maintains a very high level. So this vaccine looks really, really good. It continues to look good with all of the studies that have been done since it's rolled out. So it's a little bit of a head scratcher as to why there isn't a more broader acceptance of this vaccine, because there really isn't anything about it that would cause that should cause any hesitancy for people.
I wonder about the Delta variant and how much of a concern that is, because the Brits are pretty well vaccinated as well, and they're seeing what looks like another wave of infections.
Yeah, the critical thing about that is it looks like fully vaccinated people. So if you're talking about the mRNA vaccine, people who've gotten the second dose and are 2 or 3 weeks out from the second dose, those individuals seem to have a good response that protects against the Delta variant. Remember, the UK took a different strategy. They tried to immunize everybody with a single dose initially to get broader immunity. And the Delta variant is showing us that that broader immunity is not necessarily enough to protect against it. You need the double dose immunity, the stronger immunity from a full vaccination course to really protect against that virus. So if you stick to the 2-course vaccine that we're doing here in the U.S., we should be able to provide really good protection against the Delta variant.
Andy, what's the latest on boosters, whether we need them?
So far, everything looks good. You may see some piles of plates behind me here. We're looking at people who've been vaccinated 6 months ago, trying to measure their antibody responses and how they're declining over time. All the studies so far look good, and because this fully vaccinated regimen provides protection against variants, I don't think there's a big emphasis yet on trying to push a booster through. What would drive that is if we see a really new variant that is evading that full vaccination immune response, or if we really notice that 12, 14 months after vaccination, you see a really significant waning of your immune response. But neither of those things have really come to the light yet.
And we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Gilas Pilipinas has once again defeated South Korea 82-77, securing a perfect 6-0 in the 2021 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. It was another tightly contested matchup between the two nations throughout the entire match. But it was Gilas who kept the lead for most of the match, keeping their heads cool, especially in the final minutes of the game. Dwight Ramos led the young squad with 19 points and 5 assists. Kai Soto, RJ Barrientos, and Jordan Heading chipped in with 10 points apiece. Gilas will now look towards the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament in Serbia, which will begin on June 29. Now here are some developments we're following on the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. In Tokyo, Japan, all public viewing sites for the Summer Olympics have been canceled. Instead, the venues will be used as COVID-19 vaccination sites. Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike says there are, quote, necessary measures for a successful Olympic and Paralympic Games. Foreign spectators have also been banned from attending the Games due to the pandemic threat. Japanese medical experts have backed the move of banning spectators at the Olympics. Health advisor Shigeru Omi explained that holding the games without spectators was the least risky and most desirable option. But other experts have already floated the possibility that venues could hold up to 10,000 fans in areas where quasi-emergency measures have been lifted. The final decision is expected at a meeting set for Monday between organizers. One delegate from Uganda, one delegate from Uganda's 9-member Olympic team tested positive for COVID-19 upon arriving in Japan just over a month before the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games begin. Officials found out the delegate tested positive during a screening process at Tokyo's Narita Airport, where the athlete twice tested. The person is now in isolation. Now in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks will move on to the Eastern Conference Finals after a nail-biting win over the Brooklyn Nets, 115-111. The two teams went back and forth throughout the entire match. Kevin Durant, who scored 48 points, the highest in a Game 7 match, hit a game-tying shot to force overtime. But ultimately, the Bucks proved to be cooler in the overtime period as Giannis Antetokounmpo led the Bucks with 40 points. The Bucks will now wait for the winner of the Atlanta Hawks-Philadelphia 76ers series, which is set for tomorrow. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.